Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be slightly different to what I usually do. Nothing too crazy, but it's a little bit more relaxed, a bit more of a chit chat kind of video of me giving you tips and advice and things that I have learned that work for me and things that I want to share with you guys. So obviously this video is predominantly related to anxiety and nervous thoughts and all of that kind of thing that comes with anxiety. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to title this video yet. We'll see what I end up talking about, but basically I have a little book that I'm going to share with you that has kind of got all of my own like personal strategies and things that I like to use when I'm anxious and when I need to kind of help myself and talk myself out of things. So I don't really know if it would come as a shock to any of you guys that I do have anxiety. I don't think I've ever really mentioned it that much in my vlogs or anything on my channel before, but then again it's such a common thing and it's talked about so much lately that hopefully it's not something that has any kind of stigma around it anymore. And it's like, even though it may be a surprise because I've never talked about it before, like it's not really, doesn't change me as a person. Like so many people have lots of different things. It's just like an allergy, which I also happen to have. It's just like any of those kind of health issues, but this is a mental health issue which I'm going to talk about, and not necessarily like the mental health issue itself, because like that's a bit dramatic and I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or anything like that. But I really just want to share my strategies for anyone. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have anxiety to watch this video obviously, and you don't have to have anxiety to use any of the strategies that I'm going to share with you or any of the advice and tips and things like that. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun video to film to kind of not spread awareness, because that's stupid. Like I have a YouTube channel with like 5,000 subscribers, but I just kind of mean like, I don't know, I just feel like sharing some advice because I've never really done like an advice video, I guess. I don't know, I don't like to call it advice either because once again I'm not a professional. I'm a 16-year-old with a camera and some cool lighting now, by the way. If you guys haven't noticed, I got some new lighting which is really exciting, but I think I would have already uploaded other videos with it before this one. But yeah, let's just get into it. So first of all, I have a little book that I keep everything related to this topic in. This book, by the way, is the cutest thing ever. It's $4 from Kmart and I highly recommend it. I also have a matching one. Well, it's not matching, but it came from like the same little collection. And this one is like my YouTube book, so that's so relevant. But I have a lot of, I'll show you my little book stack. I have, plus the YouTube one. These are all of the, wow, that's the ugly side. These are all of the like notebooks and lists and things that I have. Obviously they're all baby pink. But yeah, I have my weekly planner. I have like 3 different notepads for to-do lists. I have the YouTube planning book, this little goodie book, what am I saying? I meant to say like just my book with all things related to this topic in this video pretty much. But yeah, as you can tell from this and from the fact that I'm a very organized and particular person, is that I definitely have perfectionist tendencies, and my mum definitely thinks I am a perfectionist, and that kind of is, I'd say, like a subcategory to anxiety. It's kind of just, I think it's actually technically called like an anxiety disorder. So you have anxiety and then you kind of, so say you might have anxiety, you might have social anxiety. Okay, this is a better way to explain it. It's kind of similar to like how anxiety is broken up into different types. You've got like social anxiety, which I honestly really do not have, which I'm going to go into in my little book. Basically, my tips and advice are not going to be, they're going to be specific to me and to what I need and what I experience, which is actually not social anxiety. It's more the kind of mental like battle that I have with myself of just like overthinking and really like racing thoughts, having so many thoughts going through my head all the time, which is why I have, oh my god, so many books and always have a pen with me. And the notes app in my phone is literally full of like hundreds of notes, just because I just like to write everything down, because I just have so much going on in my head that it gets me really frazzled when I don't have it written down in front of me, because I'm very visual person as well, which is why I find writing it down physically really helps to calm the thoughts in my head. Anyway, I'm getting into my strategies already, but basically what I was saying is that my kind of anxiety stems from like perfectionism and like OCD tendencies and that kind of thing, and being really particular, quite like highly strung and uptight, I would say. A lot of my friends would realise that this is all making sense now. If they didn't know that I had anxiety, they would definitely agree with that, I would say. But yeah, so it's not really strategies for social anxiety and those kind of things, because I don't really suffer from that at all. I'm quite an outgoing and confident person, especially in new environments. I actually really enjoy like new environments, meeting new people, and yeah, just having fun and being in large crowds and that kind of thing. Like, I really don't have an issue with that at all. Of course I get extremely nervous at times, and I definitely have like all of those kind of signs and that kind of thing, but nothing too extreme. So as I said, all of my little like strategy book and that kind of thing is full of things that I use personally for me when I'm struggling with overthinking and the racing thoughts and just getting really, I'd say it's more an emotional internal anxiety is what I have, whereas a social anxiety, like, I don't experience all of those physical symptoms of like panic attacks and that kind of thing when you're put in that kind of like a certain environment, if that makes sense. So I don't really experience like hyperventilating or like, actually I get really sweaty hands when I'm nervous but I don't suffer from panic attacks as such when I'm in social settings and that kind of thing. It's more internal stuff, like just kind of on the everyday basis, not really triggered by particular environments as such, more events and people and thoughts and things like that. So now that I've told you what I kind of go through, it will kind of more make sense as to what I do to help it, if that kind of makes sense. I said that twice in one sentence, that's stupid. Anyway, this is my little book. As I said, at the front page I've just written, I think I need to turn my lights down a little bit because the white page is not going to show up very well, but oh, there we go. So it just says anxiety, and it's got like little words that I've written on there. And then the first page I have, this is full of like, well, it's not full, it's really not that full at all, but it's just got some basic things that I've started to do. I just hiccuped in the middle of my video, wow. But basically I approach my anxiety two different ways. First one is mental strategies, I guess you could say, and working it through mentally with self-talk and with, yeah, things that just kind of come from myself and like within, if that kind of makes sense, like just using self-talk and that, yeah, mental kind of stuff. And the other one is distraction and like physical strategy, so like actually doing activities and things that will distract me. So I either when I am really anxious and when I am thinking about something in particular or something really bothering me, yeah, I'll either work through it myself with my like mental strategies in my book, which I'll like explain to you, show you what they are, or I just completely distract myself because it's actually too much for me to think about entirely and I can't work through it just yet, so I kind of put it to the side, distract myself, so then by the time I've calmed down and that distraction has helped me calm down, then I can kind of work through it mentally myself, if that makes sense. So depending on what it is, two different approaches. The first approach, which is kind of the more basic kind of common knowledge stuff that I'll go through quickly because it's just all the things that I use to distract myself. So that's my first page in my little book, and the title of that page is just distractions for me, and it's just all things that I'm sure all of you guys would have been told from school, from parents, from anyone, when you're stressed and that kind of thing. Like, it's really not specific to someone with anxiety or like any severe kind of thing. It can be used just for when you're like a little bit stressed. But oh, I should also mention the one thing that's really important to me when I'm like kind of, when I was making this list and adding to it, and when I do try and find a distraction when I'm quite anxious, is that it needs to be something that takes a lot of concentration, a lot of mental focus and that kind of thing, and it can't be something that you can do mindlessly. So you know what's really funny? A lot of people recommend, what's it called? I was going to say it's colouring in, but like the adult colouring in, like mandalas and things like that. But I actually find those do not help at all because they don't involve much thinking. Like, you're just colouring in, so I'm still able to have all of the like racing thoughts and things going on in my head even while I'm colouring in. And the whole point of me trying to do these activities is to distract myself from that. So all my distractions, they're really important to be, yeah, really mentally stimulating and like really distracting, obviously, and yeah, something that takes a lot of concentration. So my mind's completely taken off the topic I'm stressed about onto something else. So that is why these things have made the list. The first one is going to the gym, which is super simple, super obvious. Everyone knows that working out and exercising produces endorphins, which make you really, really happy and just make you really feel good afterwards. And obviously during, when you're working out, when you exercise, they already start to occur. And also actually thinking of what workout you're going to do at the gym distracts me. And also being in a public setting, so going to the gym, not doing a workout at home, is another distraction, because you're kind of, you know, as soon as you like go into a public space, you're kind of like looking at other people, like there's things to look at, there's things to do, there's things to read, like all that kind of stuff. There's music to listen to playing in the gym, like there's just things that like stimulants kind of thing around the place, which is, yeah, why I really enjoy going to the gym. Another one is going for a walk. Super simple, super easy. You can walk your dog, you can walk yourself just by yourself. Another one is like kind of branching off from that, well, very much so branching off from that, is just going for a mindful walk, which is just something that I've made up, I don't even know, like a mindfulness walk, which is this exact same thing, but just being a lot more conscious of your thoughts and actually leaving your phone at home. Because for me, like, this is obviously all personal to me, as I've said, for me sometimes the like kind of stem of the anxiety could be from something on my phone, like from social media or from anything, like anything on my phone at all. So yeah, the strategy that I have like while going on the walk is to actually leave my phone at home. Obviously walk somewhere that you know is safe and you're not going to need your phone. And yeah, leave your phone at home so you have absolutely nothing with you, and that you're really, really conscious of taking your surroundings. And I feel like that way, sometimes that could be not the best for people, because they can be like kind of consumed by their own thoughts again, because they're just by themselves, but I find that works really well. Watching YouTube or a movie is really good, because obviously movies, you get completely caught up in the storyline and you're really invested in whatever you're watching, so you're just not thinking about your own thoughts kind of thing. Some other ones that are really personal to me, I've literally just written the word organisation, because I'm such a neat freak, have like perfectionist and OCD tendencies. I really like to be organised, and as I said, I really like to write things down in all of my books. So I've got my weekly planner here, which is what I've also got like written on my list, is to write in my weekly planner. This is just the 2018 Active Living one from Lorna Jane. It's baby pink, so I absolutely love it. And yeah, I just write things, like obviously plan my week because it's a weekly planner, and yeah, write things I need to do and get really organised, which I actually find really relaxing, because again, being unorganised and having a lot of things in my head that I haven't written down and then I'm worried I'll forget is kind of another like trigger of my anxiety, and is, yeah, something that kind of like stems from it, and kind of counterbalancing that and like fixing the problem. That's what that is, kind of thing. So it does, I don't know what I'm saying, I'm kind of rambling a bit, but basically what I'm saying is, if the anxiety is stemmed from that and I have a lot of thoughts going around in my head about what I'm going to do that week, and it's really stressing me out and I'm not sure if I'm going to have time for things, that kind of thing, actually sitting down and just writing things in my planner like really, really helps and makes me feel a lot more relaxed. Going on from that, another thing that is kind of to do with organisation and being really productive is cleaning my room and editing YouTube videos. I find really relaxing. The last few things are really kind of simple ones I'll just run through, because they're very like stereotypical, I guess you could say. I've got baking written down, because obviously you need to think through the recipe. It's kind of hard to like get distracted while you're cooking. Meditation is a really big one. I'll show you some meditation apps that I've found actually. Reading, and then I've got Pinterest and music. So sometimes I just like to scroll through Pinterest and listen to some really loud music or some really quiet music, whatever I'm feeling. But yeah, something that will take my mind off whatever I'm thinking about. So the main meditation app that I started out with was actually the Headspace app, which has quite a few really good like series of meditations. So if you do them once a day, no matter what time of day, I always like to do mine at night before I go to bed, because I find my anxiety makes me have really racing thoughts, as I've already said so many times, but I actually like can't physically like calm them down, and I can't slow them down when I'm trying to go to bed if I'm not like extremely exhausted, and then I just fall asleep. But like if I'm just struggling to fall asleep, meditation really helps at night time. And they have the basics one is the one I've completed, so it looks like this, and the basics series has 10, so it'll get you through 10 days if you do it once a day. And obviously it's the tick there because I've already done it, and you can choose a 3-minute, a 5-minute or a 10-minute session for that time. Like it's the exact same no matter what one you choose, just like a different length of it. And then yeah, it gradually progresses each day, and that's really good. The only thing is I need to download a couple of others because a lot of meditation apps are a paid subscription, which the Headspace ended up being, so I need to find some other ones that I can do like a free trial for, because I'm not too sure that I'm committed to pay for a subscription yet. So besides my list of distractions, I've also got some little mental strategies that I was talking about, and these I really don't have that much at all. I've just got the next 2 pages in my book, but I have actually, I don't think I mentioned it, but I have been seeing a psychologist. I think I've seen her maybe 4 or 5 times now. I've stopped during the school holidays. Just, I don't know why, Mum just like didn't want to drive me over during the school holidays. But yeah, I've been to her like 4 or 5 times, and that's really helped me. I won't go into that in detail because obviously all psychologists are different, but I do highly recommend, and obviously they're different for everyone depending on what your needs are and what you want to talk to them about. But I highly recommend, yeah, obviously depending on what your issues and what you want to talk about. But yeah, it was a really good experience for me, and she actually gave me a few of these strategies that I'm going to show you. So obviously she kind of talked me through the whole like distractions thing and like thoughts, and kind of talked me through like how silly they are, and how our mind can get so carried away and get so worked up and emotional, because that's what happens to me. I get quite emotional, and yeah, my mind just kind of works things up and makes them seem a lot bigger deal than what they actually are. And yeah, she was talking me through about that, kind of like the science behind it as well, which is really interesting if you do want to go to a psychologist to find out that kind of stuff, because for some people who want to like kind of help themselves that way by actually understanding what's happening in their brain, that can really help as well. But basically on the next page I've just got a list that says things I can control. And the list, I'll just run through it quickly. Actually, this isn't like a personal list, but I highly recommend doing a personal one if your anxiety is triggered by specific events or occasions, or like when you're actually going through like a kind of an anxious period or that kind of thing, and you want to write down like a personalized one to that specific event. So things I can control to do with whatever you're anxious about at the current time. This is just like a general one. I actually found it on Pinterest, which is really cute, like a little art kind of thing. I just wrote it in a list because I'm not very creative. But it says things I can control: your effort, it says your effort, how personally you take things, what you believe, your priorities, how kind you are, what you eat, what you talk about, what you think about, how open-minded you are, your happiness, how seriously you take things, and who you hang out with. So that's that one. It's just a really general one for yeah, kind of calming down and remembering and reminding yourself, kind of grounding yourself when you're all caught up in your own thoughts. And the next page, I've actually got 3 questions that my psychologist gave me when we're doing like a little bit of an activity, and I've just titled it Slowing Down Thoughts and Overthinking. And the questions are: have I forgotten the good parts? Am I exaggerating? And will this be a big deal in a week or in a year? And those are kind of more personalized questions to me and to the kind of things that trigger my anxiety and what I actually worry over and what I overthink and that kind of stuff. So asking yourself questions like that is also really important, and not just kind of thinking about it now when you're not anxious and then forgetting about it when you actually are anxious, which is why I really like having it written in a book, because I can go to this book and I can remember all of these things even when I'm not like thinking clearly and I'm not kind of in my best mind space. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up here, guys. I feel like, well, the camera says I've been talking for a very long time, and I know I have, but I'm not sure if I've said everything I want to. I hope I have. Definitely, if you have any questions or yeah, any comments or anything like that, definitely leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to reply to all of you guys, because it's definitely a very important topic. And yeah, I really enjoyed filming this video actually, so thank you so much for watching. And if you have any video suggestions for in the future, don't forget to leave those down below as well. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you, bye!